Good afternoon, all of you. After having an interactive workshop by Netcore Solutions, let's go ahead with the second interesting workshop on a day in life of mobile apps and other marketing stories. I would now like to invite on stage Mr. Ramesh Raman, Senior Marketing Manager from IMImobile. Thank you.
The title for the workshop I thought would be A Day in the Life of a Mobile App and Other Marketing Stories. I wanted to start off with slightly on the app side. I wanted to just keep focus on applications and social media. Is it audible at the back or is there an echo? It's fine. So it's largely going to be a day in the life. I meant actually how an app, you get your app. I suppose there must be people who are developing apps for their own brands or for other organizations. There's show of hands, people who develop apps and people who have apps for their own businesses. Fantastic. So the challenge is getting this app in the hands of the consumer or users. So I thought I'll start with that, which seems to be one of the more interesting challenges we see in the market now. And then move on slowly. Just want to start with this very nice quote is, the secret is respecting the consumer. You are interrupting their life whenever you do any kind of, when you reach out to them, when you knock on their doors and you're loud and you knock on their doors, you're actually interrupting their life. All advertising, promotions is unwanted, so if you're going to crash their party, bring some champagne with you. I'm hoping I'm going to touch upon 4 ideas, 4 concepts. Hope some of the champagne comes out in that. What is it all about? I categorized into 4 of them. I call it App Connect. It's apps and social media. In any of these, you first need to get your users or consumers or your audience to connect with you first. Say whether it be downloading an app or whether it be following you on social media. And then secondly, engage with them, right? You reach out to them, they reach out to you, you have an interactive session with them. So the 4 demos that I wanted to walk you through was on apps and social media. One on connect on the apps, engage, connect on social media and engage on social media. All of these essentially touch upon 4 basic tenets. That your customers choose how they want to talk to you. It has to be driven, engagement is usually driven by them. The request comes from them. So the second one is keep it as interactive as possible. Across multiple channels, depending on what channel the consumer or the customer or audience wants to interact with you, and across multiple screens. So on the agenda is these 4. Connect with app. How do you get people to download your app? Right? What do you do? And then once it's downloaded, how do you build engagement with them? Thirdly, on social media, how do you get people to follow you or reach out to you, build engagement? How do you incentivize them to come on board? And fourthly, how do you start engaging with your audience over social media? Finally, all of that leading to shameless plug that all of this requires some kind of a platform that offers you across channels, reaching out to your consumers across channels, taking feedback from them, taking responses from them, interacting with them across channels. So that's basically, I'll just briefly touch upon that towards the end. So who is this intended for? Perhaps a mood slide. So first of them was, I thought I'll just share with you this missed call for app download. So a lot of you build apps. Now how do you typically promote an app right now? Anyone? So what do you do for promoting your apps? So largely, perhaps banner ads. If it's online, you're going to put up a few banner ads. You're going to go probably promote it on Google search engine marketing. You'll probably put ads within mobile. You'll probably buy out some mobile ads. Your agency probably does that for you. If you have loads of money, you'll probably run it on TV. So what we've seen, and we've heard from many customers, and we've seen it ourselves too, is, I'm sorry? Over email. Yeah, you promote a link over email, right? Any channel on which. Absolutely. Absolutely. So in all of these, it's a push, right? So if suppose now you know the standard problem that I think right now, about 8 months ago, I used to have a 10% open rate on all emails. Right now it hovers around 1 to 2% somewhere in that vicinity. Huh? So the more critical point being that you want them to reach out to you, right? the chances of fulfillment is much higher if the consumer demands it, rather than you pushing it on his door, knock on his door until he lets you in. So that's the same thing. So one of the things was, so we saw that any of these digital ad channels, or perhaps on ATL channels, like you have a television ad, all of them you possibly go to the extent of saying that download our app from the Play Store or download our app from the iTunes, Apple Store. So, and the call to action here is quite weak. It doesn't necessarily mean that people go search on the Play Store, like go ahead, download it, and especially more so when it comes to, like, my father, when he books his cab, he goes to the Meru site, books it all the time. Though he knows there's this big banner saying download our app from the Play Store, he really is not comfortable actually going and searching for the app, finding it out, and then run the risk that, when you search for an app, you also see other recommendations. So basically you got the user, you spent like 10 lakhs on a TV ad, you got the user to your app on App Store, and then you see that there are 4 other apps who are very similar, and probably the consumer just goes and downloads something else, so it's all money for nothing. So one of the things, the call to action, what we've seen, increases, especially when, instead of having people go to the Play Store, search for it. One additional channel that helps in a better call to action is give an option to give a missed call. So in other words, you give a number, promote a number. I think I have something here. So something like this, book an airport cab, Meru cab. So this is a search, the lower half that you see there is a typical, SEM ad that you see, a typical PPC ad. So you have like a couple of lines to put your content. So the second line goes like, to download an app, give a missed call to so-and-so number. The call to action here is basically dial out a number, and then people get a link. So I'll probably walk you through that a bit. So there are several existing solutions, as I said. There are ATL campaigns to promote your app. There are like the push marketing that you said, whether it's on SMS or email, just push it to them. So people who haven't opted in would probably not receive it. People who are on email would probably land in spam, wouldn't see it. Mobile advertising, Facebook advertising. Facebook typically charges, Facebook actually, whenever you're accessing Facebook on mobile, Facebook allows you to put ads there, right? That's another way you can advertise your app. They charge somewhere in the vicinity of more than $3 a click. So the solution is very simple. Essentially, promote a number as well in all your existing collateral that's going out. Your website, on the website, on your own website, you have a banner. You have like few thousand people visiting your website every day. Leverage it. You have a banner there that says, to download our app, give a missed call to so-and-so number, right? Or to download our app, give a call to so-and-so toll-free number. Give some call to action like that. Now, dialing out a number is far easier than dialing out actually going to the Play Store and searching based on what we've seen in the past. So in this case, the customer dials out a number, then he receives a unique short link. So this short link has some level of smartness embedded in it. In other words, it determines what kind of a phone is reaching out for this link. It determines like whether there's an iPhone that's requested for it, whether it's an Android device, whether it's a Windows device, whether it's a BlackBerry. And depending on that, appropriately redirects the user on the phone directly to the Play Store. So that way, that customer journey where he has to search, seek it out, that is eliminated. You directly lead him all the way into the store. So that's the intention. Now this has, as I say, I would probably, the idea was actually talk about it and probably show a live demo, have people try it out, and take it from there. So this is the screencast from my phone. If I would suggest if people could, give a missed call to that number there. Can you see it at the back? 040-710-12063. So something happened. That was unexpected. So here you see, so as soon as I give the call, immediately I get back a message with a unique link to that application, and clicking on that application directly takes me to the Play Store. that's the entire the flow. So have a number. I think quite a few people actually hit the number. I see quite a lot of alerts. So it's not just. So this is one part of it, right? Now this has three parts in this. One is a call to action, which was actually the giving a call, or in other cases, for example, we have had where you promote a number there, and it's actually a toll-free number. People call to it. The branding is established. Once the branding is established, the person agrees to receive this message, and then it goes further one level, right? Now a lot of people download your app, they don't use it. So if you take advance permission from the user that when you give a call to us, we'll give you like two messages, for instance. One to help you download it, and then another message perhaps to as a reminder perhaps, or as get them to open it once again, one of those. So you can set up campaigns that follow it. Therefore you have a direct connection with the consumer, with the person who's downloaded it. You set up campaigns, and it moves further. The workflow moves from there. Now in this case, you can see what is interesting to see is this has three parts. One was the call to action, that's a missed call. The second one was actually the link itself. And the third one, which is the link is customized to each person, as you were saying, right? In an email, you can track your things. So here again, it's very difficult to see for people who've used SMS marketing. It's nearly impossible to see who opened your message, who actually saw your message, which individual person opened your message. Now here, since the link is unique to each person, right, Ramesh has his particular link, so you can actually see whether this person clicked or not. So you can set up automated follow-up campaigns which say that if this person didn't click the link in one day, just do a follow-up campaign saying that this was the link we sent you yesterday. If you have any problem, call us at 080040, your call center number, so the people can actually engage, and then you build another call to action with them. Do baar ke baad, he didn't download, fine, he doesn't want it, we'll catch him some other time. So another thing about the smart link is that it can identify what kind of a device, for example, in this case. Now we've used the same smart link for many other things. In a sense, you do one campaign. If you're an e-commerce company and you do one single campaign to everybody, you have like 10,000 existing customers. There are some of them who are really, really loyal customers who actually buy very frequently from you. There are some of them who registered themselves, never come again. So typically, if marketers amongst you would realize how difficult is it to set up like 6 or 8 different campaigns, segregate, segment, set up a campaign. CRM systems usually can actually tell you segments. They can segment for you. They can say who has been buying from us in the last 6 months, who has been buying from us very few times in the last 1 year. So once that's done, a unique URL can be sent to each of these people. When they hit that link, a specific offer or a specific promotion or a specific incentive or a loyalty program gets delivered to them. So in other words, that link actually holds within it and the ability to capture some information and give appropriate information to the requester. So that was we use that essentially in our CRM systems, and we use that in this so that you can identify what kind of a device this person is coming from. So moving from there, so what are the benefits? Actually there's a stronger call to action. You integrate this across all your existing campaigns, whatever campaigns that are running right now. All you need to do is like give us a call at so and so number, in order to download the app. Start building. Additionally, you can also start building a user profile. You can actually associate your mobile number with the person who logs in. As soon as he clicks the link, you know that this person clicked the link, he has installed the app. Then you can actually associate the user for the app and the mobile number, thereby building more and more information about the customer in order to reach him out appropriately. So, and then naturally, it's a fraction of the cost. As I take Facebook as a reference, it's $3 a pop, while none of these services cost as much. So the next thing that I wanted to move on to was you got your customers to download an app, right? Now, how do you get them to engage with you, right? They have the app, 6 months, nobody's opened it. So one of the things, do people already use push notifications here extensively? App developers, push notifications, right? So what's more than so push notifications essentially are, even though the person doesn't have the app open, as long as he consents to receive some kind of a message, he can receive in your Android phones on the top. There's the small taskbar. So in that, messages keep popping up in that status bar. Now, this helps you start building, there is a greater engagement when you start using push notifications, because you can tell the person, you can have some branding in it, you can tell the person, hey, you haven't used our app for a long time. This is probably, we just launched these new features, we launched a new category of products, we launched something else. So any kind of information that you want to give, so you can actually push it through push notifications. Now, not just that, additionally what becomes interesting in push notifications is you can set up an entire segmented campaign in push notifications. In other words, you want to target people, as long as they've given the information, you want to target people who actually haven't opened your app in the last 6 months, who haven't opened your app in the last 3 months, or who have frequently opened your app in the last 1 month. So you can actually target your audience based on certain criteria, run campaigns, push campaigns. In the past, people would have run their SMS campaigns, email campaigns, voice campaigns. So as more and more people start engaging through apps, the push channel becomes very important for initiating new user engagement. So we often, in a lot of cases, while we don't we don't build it for consumer apps, so we provide the SDK that actually goes with. There are a lot of apps out there that are already built. So SDKs that actually act as a wrapper on top of these apps help you get the same push notification. So one example where we extensively use it is we work with banks on their field force apps. Like they have assets in the field which need to be, they need to go and audit it once every few days. Now, oftentimes there are location-specific information, and these guys, these supervisors who go and audit it in the field, they go to say Vashi area, they go to Mumbai, they go specific areas they go. So there's often information related to an area, that there is a traffic jam in that area, that there is, there are no buses flying in town in that area on that day. So that kind of targeted information, we actually push it through push notification to all the people who are using their field force application. So the same thing gets extended to, as long as your CRM can provide information on who is opening your app, or Google gives you analytics on, when you download from your Play Store, when your consumers download your apps from Play Store, Google gives you analytics on who's downloaded it, how many people have downloaded it, how many times people have opened it in the past, who has opened it, that kind of targeted information you get. Use that information to actually run targeted campaigns in order to increase engagement. So this is a small brief demo for this as well, something that we did in the past for a bank. So Open House is a platform where multiple channels across messaging and voice and app and social, all the channels come together. So this is essentially how the app push, in this specific case, since this was for their field force employees, for all the people who are going out in the field and auditing. So this was very specific to send to all of them. This was an app broadcast. So you can choose like what kind of users do you want to target. Do you want to send it to Android users, or do you want to send it to iPhone users? In this case, the segmentation is by the devices that they are using. So the segmentation can also be extended to by the geography they are using it in, or region, or when it comes to consumer apps, by the amount of engagement they already have with you. So this is how it comes up. So instantaneously, depending on who you pushed it to, all the category of users, they get their specific messages, and it opens up into the app. Even though they didn't have the app open then, it still opens it up. So that way, if your app has a splash screen, let's say on the front, the screen is actually a splash screen, and that's the new announcement that you want to make. So that's an excellent call to action. The call to action was the push message with all your branding. They go to the splash screen, which actually happens to be the landing page, and there you get your message through, and then the regular process of engagement starts building up. So what makes push messaging interesting is that it is much more economical, one. Two, a lot of engagement gradually moves more and more to apps. We all know that, and therefore it is necessary to, from your traditional SMS, from your traditional email, you want to actually get your foot in the door in terms of apps. So there's also a lot of other people who've actually done some research. They say that there's 2x retention rates for apps and 4x engagement rates of people who actually have push notification enabled in their applications. So another thing you would have noticed is you also get your chance to put your branding there. So therefore, it's not just like a text message. You also have the option to put some level of rich media. So the third one is, I move on to the social media. Now, we came across a very, very unique problem about a year ago. So O2, who provides broadband and voice telephony in the UK, they actually landed up with the problem that there were a lot of their customers who are actually broadband users as well. So what they do is they go get a recharge card for like £5. They scratch it, they recharge it, they use their social media credentials, log in, recharge, and start using broadband. Now O2 realized that they had like as many broadband users as many as their voice users. Clearly they knew that there was a subset which actually was using voice and broadband. Now here was an opportunity to actually, now given that they know there are large number of these customers who are using both, there are also customers who are using only one of them. Now for the people who are using both, promote something more, upsell something more, or give them discounts on broadband so that you can increase consumption, standard stuff, right? And two, for those who aren't, try to get them to use their broadband. So this was what the original problem statement was. It started off. Now it so turned out that there was also about a year ago, a lot of research, a lot of people coming to the conclusion that extensively social media engagement with businesses has been largely in the field of customer care. And social media turns out to be an extensively used channel for self-service, wherein basically people come and say, hey, tell me what is my balance. If it's an telecom operator, you got to Vodafone ask like, what is my balance, right? If it's an e-commerce site, you say on a Friday, what is the #Friday offers? What are the offers for today? So in all of these, basically there's a self-service that it's maximum used for. We recently had writing a report wherein we were measuring for India's top 10 brands. We were measuring what is their mean response time. What is the nature of questions that come up on social media. You'll realize that almost 60 to 70%, depending on whether it is Indigo or whether it's ICICI or whether it is a Vodafone, it's just customer complaints. And it is just people like, this is not working in this area, this is not working. So all of that, essentially they need someone or some automated system that actually gives them an update for a question they have. Now this was what O2 also had in mind at the time. So we worked with Twitter and O2 to build a social serve model, social service, wherein I'll show you through the course of this demo, I'll show you what we did. So all customers, our first goal was we wanted to know if your customer, I want to be able to build a profile for them. I know their mobile number. I also want to know their Twitter handle or their Facebook, their ID, Facebook. So alternatively, if I know their social handles, I want to know their mobile number. Now when I do that, a lot of people, let's say, you often like everything new that comes on Facebook from, say, Airtel's ads are amazing. You always like them on that, but you actually call on the phone and always shout. If I were a marketing manager at Airtel, I'm sorry, are you Airtel, sir? Okay. So I hope there's nobody from Airtel. I'm taking brand names, please, none of these are my customers. I'm specifically avoiding all customer names. So what would you do? So when you get these so many calls, you will probably think this is an irate customer. This is a customer that, not really a great guy who I want to upsell to. But then the same guy is actually, every new thing that you come up with, he is actually, he is the first person to go like it. Would you not want to bring both these together and say that this is a person who is potentially a brand ambassador? If I could get him to like my service, if I could do something for him, and you want to automate all this, you don't want to you cannot afford, you cannot afford to have a person doing all this. Naturally, you want to automate this. So you want to build a user profile that actually contains both of them. So when you look into your CRM, the next time you log into your CRM, you say a person's number, you get the entire statistic about how many people he reached out, how many times he reached out to you, direct messaged you on, say, Twitter, how many times he, addressed you with the handle on Twitter, how many times he called you over a phone. So all that information, you probably collect it in silos. Now O2 was doing that for decades in silos. They wanted to bring all that together to actually build that. When this is Ramesh Raman, I know his email, I know his mobile, I know this So when he calls again, I exactly know what his problem is. He must have complained a day ago on Twitter. And that's where they wanted to go. They wanted to build all of that together, bring a single user profile, and then start profiling usage, which is where all you marketeers would come to. First you want to know the person, then you want to know how the person, how does the person engage with you. So this was what we started off with. I think what yesterday, fortunately yesterday there was a big release in the UK that there was a public release that O2 is using TweetServe for all their customers in the UK. So all self-service would be available over Twitter. So naturally your customers spend a lot of time on social media, whether they are at work, they're on the desktops, laptops, they're on the mobile, everywhere they're connected via social media. So you want to leverage that channel, you want to connect with them first, you want to get them to come on board, like you or follow you or connect with you. Secondly, as I was saying, how about these scenarios like ad brand, if in case of operators, in case of any service provider, hey, hash balance, hash what is the bill right now, or one of the other things that was very interesting was, hey, call me, what are the offers available. So this list is extensible, but all it implies is once you have established that connect, any data that's available in your database can be actually delivered to him over a secure direct messaging channel. So this was the announcement that came out earlier last night, that O2 is $50 million they're investing in digitally led customer services, amongst which a significant chunk of it fortunately is on social media. So how does it work? I think I'll show you the demo first. Probably if you have time at the end, I'll also show you the entire process, how it works. That's quite nice because it pairs, that's where you see the pairing, how the whole, the mobile number gets paired. I'll explain it, I'll probably show it towards the end. So initially it starts with the brands page, right? Your page is there. Now let's take Twitter page. The same thing is exactly replicable for Facebook. So you have a Twitter page. Now the customer comes, follows you on Twitter. The moment he follows you on Twitter, the brand, actually there's an application on the brand side that's sitting, it immediately follows back the customer, sends him a direct message saying, hey, SMS so-and-so number, this security code like ABCD, back to a long code. Or it could just be a missed call or some call to action, wherein you want to actually verify that this person, this handle, and this mobile number, you want to pair them. Now, why would the customer do it? Because that's where the whole thing comes, right? If you want to give self-service, and people want that, right? People are always on social media. They want means to access their information much easier. They do not want to log into your portal, find it. See how relevant. One example is, as soon as single sign-on comes up, extensively every website provides a single sign-on. And most people use their Google credentials or Facebook credentials for pretty much everything. Now, the very reason why people do that is because they simply do not want multiple places, multiple logins, multiple authorizations, so they want some layer in between that does it. Now coming back, essentially the same thing happens here. So you message in back to the long code. So as soon as you message that in, the mobile number and your social handle is paired. So now you know these two belong to this one person. Now go ahead, do the same thing. Instead of sending over an SMS, you probably can also do email us back this code to so-and-so. I think it will be a little slower, but definitely the same thing. So now you will pair. So all we are looking at is like getting as many channels through which the customer addresses you. You want actually to capture all of those credentials, all of those identification markers. Now once he does that, that's when the whole fun starts. Then you give him a help menu, you say this is what you do. So for example, so here is this is my Twitter page. So I start a direct messaging. Now IMImobile Self-Care is actually the brand. I just set up a demo brand page. Couldn't use O2's. So I am following it, as you can see on the bar, the mid right, the blue bar. I am following it already. I've done the entire process. If you have time at the end, I'll probably go through the process again, but just a 2-minute thing again. There you go. So it starts with, you have a list of commands. So the same thing, I'll probably get to that. So there seems to be a magic trick here. Everything works on the second iteration, as I've seen from the last one. Just let the machine cool down and then get back to it. So what are the benefits? Engaging with customers across Twitter and Facebook naturally, which is a fundamental thing. Identify messages to action upon based on customer influence, sentiment. You know, as people, as soon as people start following you, then you can actually read their content, right? Then you know if this person interacts with your brand, then you can actually he's your customer, then you can do sentiment analysis on that particular post that he posts to you. So you know that there is Ramesh Raman who is actually angry with us right now. So that level of information is available. Handle customer complaints and turn happy customers, which is what I want to show you really, but truant internet. So what I wanted to show was amongst other things. So what are my offers available for me, for my customer profile? What is my balance? What is my data balance? When is my due date for payment of bills? All that information set aside. We also implemented some other things like called Call Me. In other words, how often do you call your customer care for any brand, right? You call your customer care, you need a service, you call customer care and you're on hold for like a long time. Often a lot of brands allow you, they say give us a missed call, one of us, like most of people who have a relationship manager with your bank would have this option where you can either message to them or call them, give them a missed call, and like within half an hour your relationship manager will call you back as soon as he becomes free, so you don't have to be on hold. So we did something very similar here because a lot of time wasted, the longer a customer waits on the call to speak to the agent, the more angry he is. The more difficult, even for simple issues, the more longer it takes to placate him. This is like customer service 101. And so you don't assume a scenario where you are in your office, you open your Twitter wall, just say #call me, do a direct message #call me, and like within the next few minutes, whenever the customer agent is available, you get a call back from them. So that's far easier. The amount, again, it all comes to like your call to action. We just have to make that call to action simpler and simpler and simpler. So that was the objective. Sufficiently cooled down, I hope. So this is one example. You will see that. I think it's a broadband because my phone already received the direct message. You can't see it at the back, but it says like within 12 seconds. So it's the bandwidth that's causing the trouble here. Within 12 seconds, that message actually came. So it just says that I said #data, and it replies back in 26 seconds saying you have used 365 MB out of your 500 MB. So there are several other options that way. What is the balance that I have? How many minutes do I have left for this month? And so on. So I say #balance, and it says your balance as of 17/12 is 10.34 pounds, and it took 6 seconds to get that information. So similarly, this was what I wanted to show you as well. So I say #call me. So all it does is it basically goes back to your, it goes to the servers. Then the servers actually initiate a call with the call center, find a person who is available, and then hook up that person, then calls the customer, that's me, who's actually issuing the request. So this is where this is the call center phone. I mean, this could be potentially your customer care or something. So once that call is initiated, then a call is initiated to the customer, both are passed, and then it brings both of them together. So this is the call that's landing here. So and then both of them talk to the #glory. So that was that. So in the past, what we've done is we've taken the same thing. The fact that you can use it for self-service naturally extends that you can use it for pretty much your entire CRM. As I said, you want to give a specific offer to each individual. You don't want to give the same offer to everybody. So each person, you have this personalized connection, right? He says, what are the offers available? So your analytics team has already written that logic which says if a person XYZ transactions per month, then XYZ is the loyalty that you should give, all of that. At runtime you can actually find it. And the best thing is you don't push it to him over an email, you don't push it to him over an SMS, you don't tell him like, hey, here it is, here it is, here it is, here it is. It's when he asks for it, right? So always when you ask, then the call to action is higher. So we were talking to like one of the e-commerce companies that actually does this deal stuff. For them the hash offers was very, very relevant. Because if they publicize on their Google, on their everything, they just say #offers on our Twitter wall, not only or on our Facebook wall. Not only do they get all people to follow them on Facebook, they also manage to actually advertise that #offers and get a lot of people asking more. That way increasing the level of engagement, increasing their business naturally. So that was that, Twitter thing. The Twitter serve, the benefit is, yeah, I just read that out some time ago. The fourth one is not, for the lack of a better name, I just called it social IVR. Now in this I wanted to show you engagement, how do you build social engagement, right? Now naturally a lot of people probably will talk about, how to keep a continuous engagement going, how can you have a platform that helps you do it. So one of the things that we just wanted to show a demo on was two things that I show in this. One, you want people to actually like your content, read your content, share your content, what you put on your walls, on your social walls. So that way it goes into the newsfeed of their newsfeeds, their friends' newsfeeds. So as soon as they put on their walls, suppose I post something on behalf of IMImobile. Then somebody sees it, likes it, or shares it. Immediately it goes into the newsfeed of, say, according to Facebook's logic, some 33% of their friends. So that way it goes on virally, and the better your content, the more viral it goes. A lot of times, if you see companies like Dairy Milk, for example, Cadbury's had this, I think it was Cadbury's, which did this sister campaign. How much do you love your sister? And they had these bands sing out. You send them few lines and the band sing it out. So initially the pickup was very, very low. Then they did a lot of promotions for it when the pickup started happening. So in all such cases, what you need is, so helping it go viral, people have to share. So now one of the examples that we've solved in the past is what we call social broadcast. So essentially you have a set of loyal customers, you do an email campaign to them, you do a voice campaign to them, or you probably call them out and tell them, look, allow us, come on our portal and become our social ambassador, right? So then every week or every 2 weeks there'll be some content which will post on your wall on behalf of you. In other words, Meru Cabs will be posting on my wall saying Ramesh Raman via Meru Cabs says Meru is the best service in the world. Right? And Meru is good service, which is why I use that as an example extensively. No Meru people here, right? And so that's actually what it leads to is it takes it along. The content finally goes to many more people than it would otherwise have if it were just on my wall, on Meru's wall. Right? We are the best service in the world. So that's one example. And two is, I also wanted to show you, I want to take you through another thing. You have a lot of content. You want people to actually engage with that content. That's one objective. And two is, the second point was, in this demo what I'm going to show is a lot of regular operational things you have, right? People call your customer care, people talk to you, people ask you for offers. So one of the things that I really want to show is in such a mundane thing like a customer care call, how do you actually integrate social media engagement into that? Right? Now, for example, I'll just do the demo subsequently, but suppose you have a call in which at the end of the call you say, hey, have you seen our new video ad? You have it on YouTube. If you have, yes or no, one or two, and then if the person says no, saying, may I post it on your wall, right? And the person authorizes you to post it on their wall, then it goes on their wall. The moment it goes on a Facebook wall, he likes it or whatever irrespective of the engagement, since it's on his wall, it goes into news feed of like 30% or 40% according to Facebook's logic of his friends. He has 500 friends, that will be like 150 people will actually see it from a regular customer care call, So that's what. If he hasn't seen it, right? If he hasn't seen it, you're posting it. If he has seen it, wouldn't you want to say that, hey, did you like that? If you like that, would you like us to like the post on behalf of you on our wall? Now naturally it implies extensive amount of trust that you have to build with the brand. You can't like mess around with people, start posting on the walls violently, go like 100,000 emails, I'll do 100,000 posts a day. No, that's wrong. So there is a level of trust that you have to build. And this is naturally the biggest challenge in all such highly, potentially intrusive kind of campaigns you're running. So I hooked it up. So social broadcast and social liking, automate, through an app. All of these are like Facebook provides them, Twitter provides them. They provide, very atomic services that can be put together into this kind of an application. So we just integrated into an IVR in order to be able to show how you can integrate social into all your mobile campaigns, into all any other channel, bring them all together. So let me quickly go to this. So this is a number. Unfortunately, I can't have a customer call. So I thought what I've done here is I've just hooked up a simple IVR. In the IVR, this IVR would probably play at the end of your call. The call example that I was giving, it will play at the end of the call as well. So this is the social IVR. So in order to emulate the fact that your customer care is calling you back, so I just have a missed call there. So now this will deploy a call back with an IVR.
Our services. Press 1 if you are happy with our services. Press 2 if there is something we could help you further with.
So let's say I'm happy with IMImobile services.
Thank you.
That essentially so that is my wall. Since it's my mobile number, I have associated my Facebook credentials with that mobile number. I've authorized the app here, IMI Self-Care, to actually come and write on my wall. While we wait for it. So this, as I said, so in this case, this goes on extensible, right? The level of in the first place, it's like any other app, right? Where you have a set of things. This app can read this app can do this app can post on your wall. So that's the first permission that you take from the user. Then you also have to give the ability to the user to actually get stop receiving these messages. So these are the checks and balances that have to be in place in a campaign like this. So this is how it appears on my phone, because while the desktop internet comes up. So IMImobile is proud to have you as your happy customer. Just now it was published. So the same thing, so this is on the customer's wall. Right? IMImobile is so happy. So if you see, within a few minutes, if you wait, there will be a whole bunch of my friends actually commenting on it, because I've been bugging them over the last 2 days while I was building this. So there will be somebody who asks for a pizza in another, guarantee in another 1 minute. So that's that. That's on the customer's wall. While on the brand's wall, that's IMImobile Social, you will see that, thank you, we have another happy customer. Now these are the kind of, so people who work on social, who actually do a lot of analytics with social, who try to do social marketing, they'll realize that these are the sentiment keywords. The more you have them, the better your page. The better your page, the more engagement you can build. So you suppose these are the metrics that we typically use. We measure how much of positive sentiment words are there, how much of, now then if the person, you chose those 100 loyal customers, if they happen to be your social, high cloud score, social ambassadors, then it reaches even further. So this is on Twitter naturally. The same thing is extensible to Facebook. Now this is an example where it is getting posted on the wall. It can also be extended to like Facebook, your brand has a Facebook page. On the page you like a certain single picture or a single ad that you just recently launched or a single post that you just did. So all of that can be integrated. But the essential idea is, how do you bring always two things. How do you bring as many channels as possible? Your customer can be reached on so many channels. How do you bring all of them together? And two, how do you run a campaign across these channels on whichever channels you think he prefers most? So this is essentially the crux of everything, the entire customer life cycle. You will have, each person will have a different channel on which he wants to engage with you. He wants to receive promotion on something. He wants to engage with you on Twitter. He wants actually customer care over voice always. He wants retention as an SMS, because he moves, the call to action is much faster there. So given that, the objective is a very holistic platform approach to marketing relationship management. It's not a term that I coined. Apparently all the marketing guys felt left out that CRM was so widely popular, they wanted something for themselves. So it is a genuine term. It's apparently the convergence of CRM and marketing, which is very useful, because from all what I said, if you set a hash offers, it's actually pulling data off a CRM and actually putting it on the appropriate marketing channel. So that's why it is the convergence of CRM and marketing. Making marketing more personal, relevant, interactive, invited, optimal use of information gathered from customer. So currently, why do you need a platform-based approach? Now, here is an example. As O2 said, they had all the social content in one database, handled by one application, handled by one vendor, handled by different SLAs. Another database which contained mobile numbers, handled by different vendor, different CRM system altogether. So the thing is, the moment you go towards a platform, of course, the dependency on one vendor increases. But apart from that, data can be used, more smartly. You can correlate. If any of you actually pull down your last 3 years database of customers, you will see so much of garbage in it. The mobile number is there. Some people have a landline number. Some people have 3 numbers. Some people's email is fake. It is very difficult to run a nice campaign across multiple channels as it stands today. So you need things like tweet serve, where you actually land up, customer voluntarily gives information which is genuine and you authenticate it. So you need to incentivize them. You will spend money to build these naturally. There is an expense in it, but the thing is you are getting more information from the customer through these channels. Thereby you can serve them better, going forward subsequently. So for an integrated customer experience, a piecemeal approach is bad, a platform approach is good. This is the shameless plug at the end. IMImobile was founded with a singular vision of being a global specialist provider of mobile data platform services. So we work largely with telecom operators, extensively with operators, about 100 operators in about 75 countries globally. We also work with large enterprises. In the last 4 or 5 years, we've taken all that we did for operators, whether it is loyalty management or whether it is campaign management. What we used to do for operators on a large scale, we've taken all of them, brought it down into a enterprise-grade, cloud-based, what is accessible for all the way from SMBs to enterprises, different flavors of services for all of them. What do? The mobile as a CRM channel. How do you integrate mobile and social? How do you run CRM over them? That's what we do. How do you use mobile for operational productivity? As I was saying, a bank has like, this guy is, I think Fernando? No. So Barclays has these ATMs all across London. They need people to audit those ATMs. So we help them. The application is part of a concept that's actually helping them improve the productivity there. So whether it's location-enabled applications, which actually are geofencing applications which help improve field force productivity or sales force productivity. So we actually do a lot of work in that. In other countries globally where location is easily accessible from the telecom operator, therefore we have a stronger play there. In India, I think Airtel just said yesterday that they're going to open up location, which means all the advertising will get very, very location friendly in the next 6 to 8 months. We also, bread and butter is naturally mobile as a revenue channel. We run a lot of value-added services for telecom operators globally. So that's a list of our customers. Just notice O2 is repeated twice. Oh, it's for operational productivity as well. Yeah. We are located, we've got 6 offices, etc., etc. Yeah, I think it's open to questions. Be glad to answer what you have. Yes, sir. Yeah.
Call center executive is any day a better option than an app.
Best, yeah.
So because for example, even for when I go with the app on the Meru cap, let's say I apply for it and I suddenly realize that the caps are not available. Okay, then at least I can, so it gives me the option to check with the call center directly how much time does it take, what are the options. That app does not give me that. So how do you plan to close the gap on this then?
Plus and minus. How many times have you got angry at the call center guy because the cabs are not there? So yes and no. One is brand has to, so there has to be always a fallback. In fact, Ola, if you see, it will not tell you there is no cab. That's because I use cabs frequently. I'm not researching into cabs. Ola, what it does is it also tells you the nearest cab is like 4 hours away. It doesn't tell you just that cabs are not available. It also tells you how many, what, and it doesn't tell you 12 kilometers away. It tells you like 4 hours away, which is really what information you're seeking. Right. Now app, yes. So there is a limit to what automation can get you, right? Now you are automating a certain process, but an app is also so much more useful because getting out of here, I'll probably open the app and actually book the cab in 1 hour from now than actually calling the call center. App also gives you that advantage that your location can be chosen. You don't have to enter your entire address. It will pick up the nearest address. You just say yes, and then the cab guy will anyway call you. So all those benefits are there. There is yes, that gap exists. There is that human element that doesn't exist there. Until Marvin, as in Hitchhiker's Guide to Galaxy, comes up, that gap will be there, unfortunately, but we'll narrow down that gap. As an app developer, as a designer, as a product designer, they would probably tell you like there will be fallbacks. One fallback would be where is the nearest available. Another fallback, in fact, some of these guys do it. Would you like to call our customer care and check for more details, or would you like us to go on a network portal, like you have just like ad networks, you have like cab portals as well, wherein they aggregate 4 or 5 cab operators. Probably the next thing would be like, would you want us to lead you there? It's not our responsibility, but we'll take you there if you want to check there. So it's just up to the product manager who designs the app. If the experience is paramount, all that is important. If the cost of developing the app is paramount and you want it quickly, time to market, probably you will do version over version.
I have one more question.
Yes.
In terms of the pay-per-click, PPC that you showed us, how effective has been the chat option? See, because you have a missed call option. There are options, there are some sites where they show a chat option, plus they also have an option says call now. In your experience, how effective have these mediums been?
Okay. Your first question, the prelude to the first question was voice is the best channel.
That is still my belief.
That is true, yes. So how do I put it? Missed calls, on an average, account for about 30% of all SMB leads I generate. Okay. Right? And I like missed calls because when you saw that the hard copy, I keep, whenever I meet people, I keep telling them that this is lovely because you're cheating Google. You see, can we have the slide? Can you the slide? So you're cheating Google because you're actually putting the number on the impression. And Google gives you like what, 20,000, 30,000 impressions before you get one click. You pay $40, $50, $60 for a click, but you actually get like 10,000 impressions. So you're getting 10,000 impressions of that number. Unless people are on their mobile already, wherein they click the number, Google has this click to call on the number, right? So then Google charges you. But otherwise, when they're looking at it on desktop, they're going to type it this way, they're going to look and type. You're getting like 30% leads at zero cost. You should go miss calls, not chat now. So chat is good. Now, there are a lot of people who actually help you integrate chat also into the CRM. You need to, like Big Rock, right? Big Rock's first response is always chat. Right? They never want to engage with voice because it's more expensive. Chat is much cheaper. So chat, automated chat. I like self-serve even more, right? Because there you don't even have a manual person replying back. There are a 6 set of keywords which can be solved with this. And just like in an IVR, if you can't find the information you're looking for, hashtag I still need help. And then the person immediately calls you back. Don't call it call me, say I need help, I still need help. There you go. So then the voice call starts. So your level of, depending on what kind of service you're offering. Suppose you are selling platinum jewelry, that option is not good. You should have voice. Suppose you're selling, let's say, Big Rock services, right? Now they want to start with chat to see what is the level of problem it is. Then take it further. That's how they handle it. So it's not one over another. As I said in the beginning, it is everything. You need to bring, in 1 year, as a marketer, your strategy should be to as many channels as possible, to engage with them and receive feedback and get them all in one place. So that should be the goal.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Hi. How effective do you think the app distributors who assure you a certain amount of downloads and sometimes even a place in the top 25 or 30, how effective do you think the app distributors work, and how authentic would be the user data?
It's just like the buying Facebook likes or buying followers. It's the same thing. Now, see, there are 2 kinds of apps people build, right? One is paid apps, or consumer apps which your brand builds. There you don't want to mess around like this. If you pay for downloads, that's what you will get. You will get downloads. What your brand requires from you is to increase engagement, increase revenue through the app, or increase whatever is the object goal behind building the app for your company. Now that is the first one, right? The second one is, suppose you have a paid model for the app. Then you want to actually get some paid customers. Your boss is going to say, hey, we had 100 downloads, all good, but I'm expecting about 4% conversion into paid apps from you, right? So that's the second problem. The third one is, if you are actually purely building an app so that you can earn revenue through ads, these apps are usually going to be those very, 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 very simple games, right, which have engagement. Audience is different. Perhaps in that case, more the number of downloads is best. This is exactly identical to the internet problem with affiliates that we have, right? It is a traditional problem that how do you measure affiliates? Whenever affiliate marketing happens, how do you know they're honest? How do you know they're measuring clicks? This is a standard problem, and Google gives like hundreds of tools, affiliates actually integrated on their sites, so that you exactly know how many people, where did they come from, are they leading to conversions. So the same measurement tools exist for apps also, right? Affiliates, as you said, affiliate marketeers do market your apps. They can position you, but I'm probably not very qualified to say exactly how relevant it is. It's because it is dependent on the business case you have. You want paid apps, this is not going to be a great channel. This is going to be equivalent to getting fake Facebook likes. One day you can have 19,000 likes if you ask all the guys in South Africa and Zimbabwe to actually like your page. Sorry, but I cannot get closer than that. I'm not sure how. It's not good. You want genuine customers or even genuine potentially interested people to engage with your brand. If I were Unilever, I wouldn't do that. You are from, sir? Lanix Media.
Executions, and we obviously provide efficiencies of cost to our clients. So in your experience, if you look at this social IVR scenario for an FMCG client or any of your clients, what percentage do you think, without giving me figures obviously, do you think is the consumer's investment as of with the ratio of the ROI that they get? What's your client's ownership in terms of this whole infrastructure, and what's your ownership when you give that service to the client?
Okay, break it into three parts. One, because you mentioned FMCG. In India, as Gaurav Chaturvedi might have talked about in the previous session, in India, FMCG is largely voice. Because it's that 80% market sits in rural India, right? So voice is a great channel. In fact, we've done SMS. The problem we saw with SMS, for example, I'll come all three I'll address, forgive me. With SMS we saw was we did this huge campaigns like 5 years ago, and the operator says, "हमने तो सारा deliver कर दिया." So everything is perfect. Then you go like call these people, right? Sir, आपको हमने message भेजा, क्या हुआ? We can't, because in those phones, the feature phones like 3 years ago, only 100 messages can be downloaded. The operator has already pushed like 399 bill due, 299 bill due, 100 messages is already pushed and stuffed the inbox. They don't know how to delete a message. So therefore bad. Voice is great. Automated voice, brilliant. We run campaigns on automated voice, very, very effective. 30-second clip, brilliant. Social for FMCG, there was this recent social campaign on now when Unilever launched their liquid detergent. They had something running like 6 months ago. So yes, social is good because it gives you a lot of brand awareness. New products like liquid soap, which is like a premium product, urban India uses it. Social is great. Now, the second was, your question was consumer investment.
Client investment.
Client investment. So, as far as IMImobile is concerned, we do it in two ways. One, we have a managed service model, wherein the infrastructure is ours. We guarantee security of the data, right? Our services are accessible to about 1 billion people globally. So we have like databases of that, but we don't use them. We don't have the liberty to do anything. So the infrastructure is ours, the cloud is hosted on the cloud, so all these services run off of the cloud infrastructure. Since it's a managed service, there's usually a continuous engagement rather than like build, operate, transfer, run away, no. So we continuous engagement, so it's usually OpEx model, therefore there's an initial small investment and then subsequently there is a regular OpEx kind of thing. From a ROI, right, now typically don't believe that social brings in customers. Social commerce, they say, like is about 0.5 to 1%. Like people buying through a social channel is very minimal. Social is great for brand building. Social is great for customer care. Universally, everybody agrees that customers, since primarily because it's a great channel, they're on it all the time, therefore they reach out to you on it. So from a return on investment, when I say, I would put it vis-a-vis a person calling over social media and a person calling you over voice. The cost of operating a voice, a 1 minute voice, you can get to a number. When you compare that against the cost of sending a tweet, it will be hugely different. So I hope that answers.
It does. Yeah. And I mentioned FMCG because that's what I'm working on right now, but
brilliant sector. We should talk. Yes, sir.
You spoke about a couple of things in the entire program. You spoke about the missed call for the app download, push notifications, push IVR, tweet service. What I want to understand is how much of this is a platform-driven exercise and how much could be done within the app development itself. So when it comes to scheduling of campaigns, you probably require a platform. But when it comes to not scheduling a campaign but purely giving these features out, then I don't think you probably need a platform. A lot of this could be a part of the app development. So how do you think the ecosystem should start working so that they can gain momentum from what we're already talking about?
Okay. So standard answer to that is like the time to market. Fundamentally, it will increase your time to market. If you're a small app developer who wants to bring everything into it, when I see small, when you're like budding app developer or a smaller organization that's building its app, bringing all of that infrastructure into it is very difficult. Maybe a time horizon of like a few man years. Two is, so a lot of these, as I was showing, Facebook provides that as a service. Actually, you and I have the same level of capabilities available to us. But in case of Twitter, we actually worked with Twitter. Nobody else has a service live like this in the world. We're working with Twitter to enable this. There were a lot of challenges in between where you need authorization to actually get it real time. Now, Twitter, one example I'll give you. On a Twitter wall, you cannot post the same content twice within a certain duration. Now, you as a person, or not you, I mean a small developer cannot actually go and tell Twitter that, hey, remove this restriction for me, I want my customers to write on the wall. You say no. So those things we've taken care of. Now coming back to the more technical question you had of why platform. Why platform is important? Because you have a customer. Now you want to do it inside the app. That's probably not very clear. But you can create a database of mobile numbers in one Excel, column number 1. You can create column number 2 with all that email addresses, column number 3 with all the Twitter handles. Have 2 people actually look through it, or keep it in a DB, build a user profile. You can do all that. But essentially it all comes back to the same question, how quickly do you want something? This will take you a few years to build such a model, have it, and then have a campaign manager. The campaign manager just doesn't push things. It also runs rules. You can elementary rules based on consumption, based on revenue generation. Those kind of rules are already part of the campaign manager and can start pushing out. Now, as I said, if I told you you want to run a campaign in which people who run an email campaign, remind them after 1 day, send them an SMS and remind them, all those who didn't open the email, and those people who opened the email, have your call center call them, and we're doing a campaign for 100,000 people. And then for those people who actually have an app already installed, don't send them an email, send them a push notification. And for all these people who are on social, that's the best channel. Let's do something there. Now, so you wanted to implement all this, how long would you take? Zillions, I mean quite a long time.
Quite a long time. so the other question that was extension to your answer is that since you're already talking about an OPEX model for brands to work on, is there also a build model wherein you give an API of the app in a certain format which can be plugged into an existing development program?
Yes, of course. So maybe I didn't want to plug too much. But Open House, we have a platform called Open House. Open House, essentially what it does is it takes all these most commonly used stuff, right? Starting with the fundamental SMS push, starting with the fundamental voice push, click to calls, missed calls. So then, it gradually evolves that way. Then these are all atomic services, we call it. Basically fundamentally they're just one API. Then we do a mashup of APIs. We put 2 or 3 APIs together to actually complete a single flow. For example, the missed call that I showed is actually a mashup of 3 different services. The missed call is actually from Open House. That's a product that we have called Open House, on which you can create buy numbers, set up missed calls, set up your buy toll-free numbers, buy missed call numbers, set up campaigns, push messages, do whatever you want. It's purely OPEX. There is no investment at all. Buy a number, run your campaign. That's part 1. The second part of it was actually the campaign manager, which is actually generating that smart link for customized to each individual person and keeping track of this number was sent, this link was sent to this mobile number. Therefore, can generate for you saying who was it who clicked. And the third part, was the delivery of it. Now, if you will notice that one day from now, the campaign is set such that one day from now, those people who didn't click will get another message. So all of this is like three different things. Now, naturally, you want to build and so there are APIs available to a lot of these which are very common. So the moment we see that something is very, very common in the market, everybody needs it, we build an API for it and host it on our open house platform as a web app. Then people can use that as a web service or a web app, people can use it. So we expose this API as and when there is a critical demand from the market which validates, which there is enough volume that we can actually avoid custom development, build it, put it there. And people can use it.
So as an opportunity for all those people who have got applications in the market for their brands, maybe a leg of a missed call alert or missed call for app download can be an immediate extension.
Yes. So it actually doesn't, it only supplements what exists, as I said. You will still run your TV campaigns, but you want a stronger call to action. You don't want to just tell them, go and download. It's actually very pedantic. Now give a call to this number, there's slightly more urgency around it. Right? Similarly, you will notice that a lot of test drives happen. We work with a lot of automobile companies, dealers. A lot of test drive requests. Test drive requests come through SMSs. They say test drive Benz. They actually message in, and they are looking at it at hoardings on your signal junctions. So in other words, yes, there is a lot of.
So does it require any development on the existing applications to get this integrated?
I'm not sure. It's a very generic question.
In the sense that if there's an application which is there already and you want to probably integrate it with a missed call for app download, does my app require a development work into it, or it's only the platform?
No. Your app doesn't require any development work. Perfect. All I need is where is it hosted on the Play Store? Right. Give me the URL, play:// whatever it is hosted. And where it's hosted on Apple or where it's hosted on Windows, and just start using it.
Perfect. Thanks. Yeah.
SMS is a cost today. Do you increasingly see brands moving more towards missed call, voice options than SMS? Because SMS has its limitation, but at the same time it's expensive. Do you see that trending happening more towards again voice calls?
Yes, in a big way. The FMCG companies are leading that. Okay. In fact, about a month ago, Tri said that if you push a message to a D&D customer, then the brand is responsible for it. So till recently, it was the telemarketer who was responsible for it. The guys like us who provide the open house platform, we were responsible for it. So now, about a month and a half ago, I think there was a ruling that the brand is responsible for it. So now people don't want to do that. There is a greater inclination towards the customer-initiated communication. Because you want the customer to initiate it. So what do you do first? Now customer, there'll be a hurdle. They don't want to pay money. Therefore, you don't want to give them anything that costs money. Therefore, you think of toll-free. Then you say, hey, toll-free is too expensive for me. Then you think of missed calls. Missed calls is free for them. And the operator says, no, missed call is bad. We will not let you. Then you go back to toll-free. So there is a little confusion there, but fundamentally, yes, the SMS is the push. The whole idea behind push implies that the customer wants it, but the market's response is we don't want it. I do email marketing. It is very depressing to do a great creative and actually see that only 1% people look at it, right? I would rather, put it on my social walls and actually get more people looking at it than through an email campaign. So push is bad, but pull is always great. So the more the pull, the more you incentivize them to pull information from you, the greater your campaign will be. Thank you very much. Yeah. No, I don't have industry trends, but two things come to my mind. One is, if you're Microsoft, it's great. If you're not Microsoft, getting the OEM to actually put your app on the phone is difficult. I know there's a company called UC Web. They actually, I don't know, anybody's from UC Web? UC Web, what they did very interestingly was, they didn't do bundling per se. They wanted their browser downloads to go up. So they started going to Google, and not Google, initially they didn't go to Google, they went to the slightly smaller guys, right? Yahoo, and say we call Yahoo small now. 10 years ago they would have killed me for it. Now they go to the Yahoos of the world and tell them that, look, we'll place you on, we already have 100,000 people using our browser, we'll place you on top so that for search they'll come to Bing or Yahoo. Right? As soon as you see search here, you will click that. You'll not like go and type Google when there is an option available. Now they said that, and they you know what they said was, then you should co-promote me on your search engine marketing. Whenever people come through Yahoo or Bing, promote me. So that way they had this co-marketing thing going on. Bundling, when you say bundling with what?
App, if I'm launching my app probably next month or next to next month, I will probably go to Samsung and ask him to put my app and have it inbuilt in all its phones. So,
Yeah.
So
No, it's yeah, it is.
Flipkart app in my phone. So I think it's a tie-up between Flipkart and Nokia that they're doing.
Possible. It's possible. There must be a commercial agreement in place. There must be you know, obviously, right? That's the best way. So Microsoft, the way it goes is, I know the inside joke is the reason why they know Microsoft people, right? The inside joke is their releases are defined strongly by the OEM releases. 3 months before the OEM release, they have to have the product out, because if they miss that window, nobody will download it. So they go through mainly through the OEM, right? It's a part of the build itself. We do that for operators, right? This is what we do for operators globally. Operators have a portal through which they sell media, right? If you at a time when YouTube wasn't so popular, a lot of content could actually be accessed through portals, on-device portals. Now, in these on-device portals, nobody would go and download an on-device portal. Since people take the phone from the operator, they actually burn the on-device portal on the phone. So we have done that in the past for many operators. Yeah, but for a reasonably sized organization to actually go get that done, there must be really a strong commercial agreement in place, and there must be a real revenue generating opportunity for the brand as well to invest in it. Because Samsung is not going to just, any OEM is not just going to like, okay, very unlikely.